Welcome, everyone, to the Outtakes Movie Podcast. I am Sam, and we're back, and we are still going on our quest to go through every single movie ever made and objectively rank them best to worst of all time. Joined, as always, by my amazing team. Amelia, wagwan.
Hello, how we doing? Joe? Ask you for once.
What's that? Oh my god, I'm not prepared to answer questions. What is this? A dialogue? No, thank you. Joe?
Yeah, man. Not bad. Can't complain.
And
it's a bit hot.
Jacob.
Bit hot too.
Bit hot.
It's a bit hot.
Bit hot. We've moved from being bored and stuck in lockdown to cooking inside. So it's good.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice and toasty by the end of this one. So this week's movie is Street Fighter the movie, which is kind of remembered as one of the best worst movies of all time. It's debatable. It's I picked it so we could all have a good laugh. Make sure you've seen the movie because we're going to be spoiling it, but it's the Street Fighter movie. So, it came out in 1994, December 23rd. So let's have a quick look back in pop culture history, and see what was going on at the time. So this is nowhere near.
This came out the day before Christmas Eve.
The day before Christmas Eve.
What?
Yeah, you could have gone. Imagine it's Christmas Day. You go out with your family and see Jean-Claude Van Damme awkwardly pretend like he can speak English. So, yeah, surprisingly, not very Christmassy in the pop charts. 1994, I don't know what was going on. So let's go through it. So, number 25 was, I had to check this, I had to Google this, was a remix of, you know that song from the 60s or something, maybe even earlier, When I'm Cleaning Windows?
When I'm cleaning windows.
Yeah, the weird comedy song. A dance remix of that.
When I'm cleaning window.
You're not wrong.
That sounds bizarre.
The mid-90s, man, mid-90s. There was nothing else I recognised all the way up until number 9, which was our first Christmas song. Well, actually, I don't even recognise this. Please Come Home for Christmas, Bon Jovi. I didn't know Bon Jovi had a Christmas. I guess you can call that a hit, but it's been
I mean, it
forgotten.
is 1994, so them having a Christmas hit doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah. I suppose it's easy to forget that, Bieber's technically had a Christmas hit.
Ugh.
It's the most beautiful time of the year.
Nah.
Very nice.
Number 7
What a dick.
was Cotton Eye Joe by the Rednecks.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
These are all of our disco classics, bro.
What a song.
Right. Okay.
Oh, man.
Number 4, the Power Rangers theme tune. Number 4.
Oh, man.
Well done.
Yeah.
Okay. Well done,
I
Power
have to
Rangers.
imagine that was number 1 at some point. To get that high, I have to imagine it was number 1 at some point. Number 2, now we're in typical territory. All I Want by Mariah and Stay Another Day. So those are your 2 big Christmas hits for the year.
Fair enough.
Over in the world of video games, it was a weird year. The SNES was still out and popular. The only thing that came out around this time was, and this is only interesting if you're into really weird nerdy shit, Bungie released a game called Marathon, which was a Doom clone, but it essentially laid the bedrock for what they'd start to do with Halo later on. So that's historically relevant. And in the world of cinema, earlier in the month, this is not a good year. I know some people are doing cool movie marathons recently where it's everyone's got to pick a movie from the year they were born. If you were born in 1994, if you were born in December 1994 specifically, you could have chosen, you could have chose this, Street Fighter. You could choose the first Dumb and Dumber. You could choose Richie Rich. Or you could choose the Jungle Book 90s live action movie.
It's a live action.
I didn't even
Yeah,
know.
did you not know?
In the 90s.
Yeah, they show it on Channel 5 every
Oh.
weekend. Yeah. Yeah, it's not good.
I didn't even...
Sounds shit.
It is shit. It's exceedingly shit. Mowgli's like a man though in it. It's weird.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. It's
Is it
weird
the
movie.
Disney? Is it Disney?
No.
Because there's one
Wow.
coming up that's Disney.
I don't know that it's Disney. It doesn't feel like a Disney production, but it might be.
Shall I, if I quickly snap a picture of it so I can show you guys quickly? It's absolutely terrifying. It looks like they should have got Michael Jackson to play the role of this,
Yes.
That's it.
Ah.
Oh, it is Disney.
Oh, it is Disney. Ooh.
Look at him. He's terrifying. Not fun.
Weird times, man. Weird times. Okay, so yeah, this fucking movie. You a fan of video games? Great. You're probably not that interested in seeing them in movie form. It's fine. It's the 90s through to the early 2000s. It's all we fucking got. So, what's the plot of this movie? Let's.
You know, right, genuinely, before you say the plot, it took me about an hour to figure out what the fuck was going on. I couldn't follow this thing at all. I was like, I felt like I had to play the game, but I know that the game.
You wouldn't be
style of
helped.
the game,
You wouldn't be
like,
helped by
yeah.
playing the game.
I was gonna ask, so Street Fighter is it's very similar to Mortal Kombat, right?
Yeah, in a sense.
So it's kind of two people just sort of fighting on a platform.
Yeah, on a 2D plane.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's basically
Yeah.
it, right? How do they make this from that concept?
Okay, so Street Fighter does have a story. Like, all fighting games do have stories. Right. But because the nature of the way they used to tell the stories was that you'd pick a character and they would have a campaign and they would all get an ending. It was kind of like you'd build a world by the end of it, but there wasn't really a solid story. You'd always have like one villain, but it didn't really matter what they were doing. It's just they'd be the final boss, and then you get an ending for your character. Right. That typically was M. Bison, played by Raul Julia in this. Raul Julia, who, in my opinion, saves this movie. like it does not matter that it's a video game tie-in. No one would be talking about this movie 26 years later if it wasn't for his performance of M. Bison. Guaranteed. But yeah, I totally know what you mean. I am somewhat familiar with the Street Fighter story, and they still took like massive creative liberties. You're not helped by knowing the lore. If you do really care about it, I don't think you'd be interested in watching it in this form. Really? You'd probably just be sat there for nearly 2 hours going, I'd probably rather just play the game. And if you don't know it, then it's this mismatched, weird plot where half of the characters, they've got the names of people from Street Fighter, but like, that's sort of it. So, your main A story, which they spend so much time faffing around, but your main A story is basically this. M. Bison is this weird dictator who's got this plan to create a utopia, Bisonopolis, and he's holding a bunch of captives in this fictional place called Shootaloo? Shooters something?
God, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
It doesn't really matter.
It does not really matter. Somewhere over there. He's holding these hostages, and Guile, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, the Belgian real American hero, has to gather the army together in order to stop him. But it's just a normal weird war movie until the government decide to pay off M. Bison. So that means our hero can go rogue and become a real American hero by saying, fuck you, I'm going to go there and beat them the real American way with guns and kicking and explosions.
America.
This is my issue with this bit, because like by him not following those orders, doesn't that make him a war criminal?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
The reason? Isn't that the whole plot of Apocalypse Now? Is that the guy he's chasing is the guy who didn't follow orders? That's the whole plot. This is a prequel to Apocalypse Now. Just saying. and
that's a film theory and a half.
There you go. And then fucking Marlon Brando plays an older version of the character. Is it Giles?
Guile. Yeah.
He just changed his name. There you go. That's
So this is strange for numerous reasons. For one, not a lot of street fighting happens in this movie called Street Fighter. The closest we get, I'd say, is a bit of the Guile versus Bison fight at the end, which kind of takes place on a 2D plane for a bit. Like, they sort of do a bit of back and forth, which is in a secret facility, not a street. And the actual main character of the franchise, Ryu, is relegated to a side character who I don't fully understand what he's doing.
The guys selling the tennis ball guns to the guy with the
who ends up in the white gi with the red headband. That's Ryu. That's your typical main character of Street Fighter.
Oh, I recognize him.
Yeah, with the muscles.
Okay.
And
did he ever wear the red headband?
Now you're saying it, I don't think he did. He got a white gi.
He was... Yeah. If he put the red headband on, I would have been like, oh, that... Oh, okay.
He does also very briefly do the Hadouken, but they're not willing to commit to the ball coming out, so he just does this at a guy's chest, and he doesn't say it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's so quick.
Exactly.
It's so quick. So... that's all you can really say for the main story, because there's so much fucking about. So to get to your periphery, you just got to talk about the characters and their weird side stories that aren't important, but they are in the movie. So Bison is just M. Bison. There's no real change to him. He's always been a weird, maniacal, evil dude, except in the games, he's got pecs bigger than his own head, and his head is also extremely big, and magical powers, and is generally considered a threat, whereas in this it's more of a comedy, but that's fine. It's the only thing carrying me through this movie. Guile in this movie is just Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah. I was really sad when I googled the character and found that he didn't in the film have that weird hairstyle that's like a mushroom cloud that's just been cut off halfway.
Which is perfectly flatly shaved as well at the top.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I really wanted that. I wanted to just commit to it and just do that. And then by looking at that, I actually found like a fan edit where someone had put together the ideal cast for a remake of Street Fighter.
Oh my god.
And the person they cast as Guile was Chris Evans, but they'd given him the hair. So it was like... it was very weird to look at. But like... I mean, so it makes sense why they didn't do it for this, but this film's just weird to begin with, so just commit, you know what I mean? Just go for it.
I mean, Guile has traditionally never been like a big character in the franchise anyway. It's just he's always been the American soldier one, and I think as the decision to adapt this into a very traditional, if not child-slanted action movie, probably more just led to like make him the lead. Apparently, Amelia, you've seen something, definitely.
I was just waiting. Do you want to see the picture of Chris Evans?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna slowly bring it into frame.
Look at it. It's fucking weird, isn't it?
Stunning.
Look at that. There you go.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So it's all weird stuff. Apparently Van Clam. Apparently Van Damme was a problem on set. So I think this is one of his actual first action movies. Certainly there's stories that I've heard that he didn't know very much English when he was cast, so which hence the weird delivery of some of the lines. But also he had a huge ego, didn't really want to spend that much time with a lot of the cast, did want to spend a lot of time with Kylie Minogue, who apparently he was having an affair with on set. And... oh god, I'd need to find the number. He brought a lot of cocaine to set. He brought a lot of cocaine.
Oh.
I mean, if you're working on a film like this, maybe he needed it, you know what I mean? Doing all the jumping around and the fucking... some of the dialogue they forced him to say.
Oh god, I know.
Maybe he just needed the extra kick.
I mean, so, before I carry on then, because I shouldn't have skipped over it. I mean, I've already praised him a little bit. So Raul Julia playing M. Bison... when production of this film started, he discovered that he had cancer, and died shortly after production, which is why this movie's dedicated to him when you get to the credits.
Okay.
He is the only one that knows what movie he's in. Definitely. He's the only one that really understands the lunacy of it all and commits. And apparently the stunt coordinator didn't really have much knowledge of video games, so it was a case of like they put together a lot of stunts and then they played the games and they were like, we want to incorporate fight moves from the games, but I don't know how to do that. So they had to rearrange a bunch of stuff. And because of Julia's diagnosis, they had to shoot all those Bison fight scenes first and just kind of get them done. Just in case his health deteriorated. And that meant that a lot of the other actors were given... Oh, sorry, that was disgusting. They were given their their fight moves, their choreography, like 20 minutes before they were due to do it.
Oof.
Apparently, the guy who played Ryu actually hired like a taekwondo guy personally just to kind of teach him on the side because they had no idea what was going on. Messy production. Yeah, I think especially considering the diagnosis, Raul Julia did a stunning job in this.
Yeah.
Chun-Li in the games, she's your blue dress lady who does all the kicks, and is described as the strongest woman in the world. In this, she is an undercover reporter, which is an odd choice, and she's played by Mulan, Ming-Na Wen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
She's good.
Yeah, she's also thingy. The chick in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. who's really cool.
Agent May.
Agent May.
Oh, yeah. I
Melinda
thought I
May.
recognised her, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't bother to check
Thing is,
who
as soon
she
as,
was,
as soon
but-
as she popped up, I was like, oh, she's gonna do some fighting. Because that's who she is. I was like, she's gonna do some fighting.
Can we all appreciate... a lot of the fights in this are weird. I really liked her flying kick that she does to Bison, where it comes out of nowhere and she's definitely on wires. That was great fun.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
most of the kicks.
Yeah.
What's better? What's better? Is it the flying kick she does where it's on wires, or is it the kicks that Kylie Minogue does where she yells thrust kick, thrust kick? She does it.
Man.
Right, the character she's playing, is her character supposed to be British?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if like Americans just got confused between Australians and British people. Again,
Maybe
like
they did.
always seem
Maybe
to
they
do.
did. I think she was trying to do an accent because that's not normally how she sounds, but it wasn't. It didn't work. It certainly didn't work.
Why was she in this?
I didn't even realise it was her until like halfway through the film, and then it just clicked, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's Kylie Minogue!" And then, as soon as I realised it, her accent just like fell apart in my brain. I don't know what happened. I don't get what happened. I was like, 1 minute she was just speaking, and then it's like, oh shit, it's Kylie Minogue, and then she was just suddenly Australian. I was like, oh, shit, right. Okay.
I mean, perhaps they just kind of cared less the more the production went on.
Maybe.
You know, you never know. I mean, there was like a weird... I don't know if anyone else felt like this. There was a weird moment, and I can't tell you the exact point in the movie, but it felt like two different movies started happening, because the start of the movie is like a weird, basic, stupid action movie with just like action movie production design and costume design. And then the back half is a video game movie where everyone's like in-game costumes starts showing up for seemingly no reason. Like, Cammy's wearing just a full army get-up, and then at some point she takes her top off and we don't know why, and she's got like a skin-tight leotard on.
It's because probably just the sweaty boys in production were like, we've got to get her titties out.
I mean, well, this is an important thing, because there's a lot of like weird, I was gonna say underlying, but some of it's pretty straight up, like sexism in just the direction. So and writing. So you know, M. Bison captures Chun-Li and her team, and takes her team off to be tortured, but then gets her into his private quarters and puts on like a leopard print version of his costume and gets her into a weird...
I started getting like really concerned when this started to happen. Cause I was like, is this film going to take a weird turn here? Because I'm not ready for this.
Like he gets her cuffed and makes her change costume and does up her hair and her makeup, and he was definitely gonna like, ooh. And then at the end of the movie, Guile, who's only had confrontive dialogue with Chun-Li beforehand, starts just checking out her ass. And she spots
So
it, and
weird.
she's like, yeah, he's checking out my ass.
So weird.
Oh my god.
Isn't
So weird.
There's a small part of me that wants to commend them, because in the games, Cammy's costume is just boots, gloves, an army hat, and a green leotard, and nothing else. That's it.
It's a
That's all
proper
she wears.
wedgie of a leotard as well.
Yes, it is.
Good god.
There is, however, they did release a Street Fighter the movie, the game,
Oh, I
where
saw this actually, yeah.
they filmed all of the actors in the actual video game costumes doing some of the moves, and then they placed that into the game, which is actually the way they used to do Mortal Kombat. They actually filmed actors in costumes doing it, so they did that for this, so they could have a Street Fighter the movie, the game. So you can see Kylie Minogue looking like that, albeit very bit crushed, if that's your thing, I guess. You know, go and seek it out, you weirdo. So we've basically covered Cammy there, who's basically just the same. We've got Ryu and Ken, who are normally these like highly trained martial arts experts, but in this one are con men, I think.
I have no idea.
What are they planning to do? Just like rock up to this serious criminal and try and sell him fake weapons?
Yeah.
What? The bit with the eye patch guy's like, all right, stand in front of these guns. We're going to shoot you. And he goes, what? You're not afraid of your own weapons? I was like, what? Hang on. Are they not afraid because they know what they are, or are they just they think they've been? Why is he saying, "Are you not afraid"? Because these are supposed to be machine.
Oh, the wheels are turning in his head.
That's just the
It's
whole.
just it didn't make any sense.
Not
That's
one
just
bit.
the reaction to the whole film, really, though, isn't it? Like just like a loading bar, just going like round. And round like that. That's the whole film.
So we've also got E Honda, who is normally a big sumo guy, who is still a big sumo guy, but he's also an undercover news van guy. That's his job. There was a great bit of dialogue in this, which I might have misheard, so I'm gonna interpret it two different ways. So there is a sensible way, and there is the way I want it to be, and I think it is. So Ryu spots Honda and goes, "Yuri Honda, you nearly beat," and he either says the Yokozuna or just Yokozuna, and depending on which one he said, changes it like totally. So if he said the Yokozuna is the name for just a high-ranking person within sumo wrestling, like one of the best in the world at it, which might be what it is. If he's just said, "You nearly beat Yokozuna," Yokozuna is a professional wrestler who was active at the time of the movie and was the WWF champion, who was a fake... His character was that he was a sumo wrestler, but he wasn't really a sumo wrestler. And he was also technically a fake Japanese person, because he was really Samoan, but they just gave him like a Japanese hairstyle and pretended that he was from Japan.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Yeah. And given all the weirdness of that, I really hope that he actually just said, "You nearly beat Yokozuna," implying that Yokozuna, the fake sumo wrestler, fake wrestler, and fake Japanese person, is actually a real all those things in the Street Fighter universe. That's your boy. That's him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he doesn't even look Japanese to begin with.
No.
Like,
No, he doesn't.
nothing.
No.
He doesn't.
Who else have we got? We got Vega, who is just Vega. That's what he looks like in the games. He's pretty cool. He gets his mask. He gets his claw. I appreciated that as someone who's played the games.
The guy who's like kind of Wolverine.
Yeah, the guy who's like kind of Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
Sagat is just a gang leader who's a boring gang leader. Blanca, who's normally a giant green monster who can generate electricity in his body, is Giles Bezzy mate, who he rats out at the start of the movie, who's like, "Charlie, no, I'm gonna come for you." And then Bison's immediately like, "Ooh, friends, shouldn't have done that." Who gets tortured to be slightly bigger and wear a wig.
That's not even the worst bit, though. He doesn't say it like he when he says it, to his mate, he tells him he's gonna come get him. He like whispers it almost as if it's like he's just talking directly to him. It's like at the end he's like, "Don't worry, I'm gonna come get you, blind. Don't worry." And it's like, you know, you're on TV, like millions of people are watching right now. Who the fuck are you whispering to?
Innit?
It's like, it's so fucking weird.
The logic on display in this film, constantly incredible. Pardon me. Dalsim, who is the doctor who is kidnapped and forced to work on making Blanca, who is normally this crazy, like, Mr. Fantastic sort of guy who floats and can stretch his arms out, but we don't get any of that because that would be fun. Who else have we got? Balrog, who looks the same as he does, who's the boxer, who's an undercover camera guy. I don't know how many people in journalism secretly hate this one guy, but apparently there's at least 3 of them who have all met up here.
Isn't that the name of that fire Satan demon from Lord of the Rings as well?
Yes,
Balrog.
the Balrog is what kills Gandalf. We've got Zangief, who's the comedy relief henchman, the really big guy with the mohawk, who also has some great bits in this movie. My favourite one being...
Yeah.
I think you know which bit I'm going to say, where it's Cammy goes to destroy that van with all the weapons in it, like goes to blow it up, and in order to try and stop the van blowing up, he says, "Quick, change the channel."
Yeah, that was...
That's good, man.
Fucking stupid, but I laughed at that.
Yeah.
I hate to admit it,
Yeah,
but I did.
I laughed at that.
I did.
Well, the thing is there's a lot of bits in this that make me think that if this was just a dumb comedy kids movie, like Three Ninjas or those 90s Ninja Turtles movie, it still wouldn't be good, but like, it just doesn't know what it wants to be. There's a lot of it where it takes itself too seriously, and I completely fall away from it. And the bits where it's just comedy, like there's the other comedy henchman guy who's called DJ, who there is some bits in it which it's just not okay. There is a pretty funny bit where Bison's like, the enemy's at our door, we'll battle them together, won't we, DJ? And DJ's sneaking off in the back, hoping not to get noticed. That was pretty funny. But the bit that I'm not okay with was the joke, inverted commas. Well, the start of this is a pretty good joke, I think, where and Bison's like, "Let's see if they've dumped the money in my Swiss bank account." And his big screen displays his Swiss bank account, and it displays all the information one by one. And then when it says 0, it goes, eh! It makes like a siren noise. And he asks, "DJ, is the money in there?" And there is only one reason he does this. DJ goes, "Oh, hell no!"
Oof.
Could have just said no. Could have just... I get what the joke's supposed to be. It's not okay. Wasn't okay in the 90s. It ain't okay now. And T-Hawk, who's not a character, who is a Native American in the game, and in this movie he's just Cammy's mate. And that's your cast, and they're all going about doing lots of different things. But it doesn't matter. There's tennis ball guns, there's belly dancing, lots of things happen in this movie. None of it matters.
None of it's good.
So it's mostly known for 2 things now, which is 1, just the weirdness of the fight scenes, and 2, the performance of Raul Julia. So with the fight scenes, we talked about the kicks, the flying kicks, the thrust kicks. There is really only 2 other fight scenes that I kind of think we could talk about and have some fun with, which are 1, the weird bit with Honda and Zangief, where they go to Bison's model village and you can hear Godzilla roaring.
Oh. You know what, actually? Oh, no. Oh, no, sorry, never mind.
I don't remember that happening.
Really?
No, I
Yeah,
do.
I'm pretty sure.
I remember
It
it
took
wasn't...
like 3 attempts to watch this.
Oh, yeah, no.
Genuinely.
Really?
I've been trying to watch it for like past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I put it on, I was like, right, no, I'll come back to it. And then came back to it again and thought,
To be fair,
No, not yet.
I don't think... Would I class this as multiple attempts? I did have to keep pausing it and doing something else. Like, it was only like a 10-minute break, but I did have to keep pausing it and doing something else.
Like, I had to actively go do other things for my brain not to, like, melt while watching this film. Like, legit. Yeah. It was just...
It's just like, it makes it just spread out a little bit more, so you're enduring more pain. Because it's, the start to end time is however long as you want it is. But then again, it's less concentrated, I guess. So is that better?
Do we think part of the problem for this movie, maybe, and I think it is there isn't a focus main character. There sort of is, and it's Guile, but he's off doing something else for most of the movie in meeting rooms. It's pretty boring. And then you've got this excess massive cast, and you're not introduced to them in interesting ways, and they're just all doing stuff. Like, it feels like the first hour, maybe hour 10, it's just people doing things, and it's boring. And there's too many of them.
Yeah. I mean, I
don't see how you'd make a good Street Fighter movie.
I don't think you could. Yeah, I don't think you could.
I didn't think... no, especially not with all the characters. If you were to do... The only way I could see it working is if... Like, Marvel didn't make Avengers with all their characters in it straight away.
Yeah.
Dedicated time to each one. Whether there's enough backstory for each Street Fighter character to do that and have them do something at the end, sure, but that's not what Street Fighter's about. It's not called Street Fighter Assemble.
There is
what?
A movie called Street Fighter The Legend of Chun-Li, which I think was supposed to start that as an idea, which mostly focuses on her, and it's not good, and it's just a really bad, like, kind of girl power action flick, but not girl power in an actual fun way where you can have fun with it. It's kind of like, we are writing a strong woman, so the way we're going to do that is just write a psychopath. You know, like Hit Girl. Like the way Mark Miller writes all his women. Like, great.
No, maybe it's just impossible then.
They did plan, however, for that movie to be a sequel to this movie, in weird ways. So they actually asked Van Damme to come back. He was the only one they did ask, and he said no. So,
yeah, fair fucking enough.
Yeah. There's not been. Am I misremembering anything? There's not been a good video game movie, and I think as an entire industry, they need to just come to terms with the fact that there ain't gonna be one. Really?
No.
You can pull from like a wider universe. I think the strongest one maybe is Detective Pikachu, and that's still not a good movie. That's still a messy movie.
Have you seen Tomb Raider, the newer one with?
I've not. Is it okay?
Angelina Jolie. It's all right. It's pretty. It's better than this.
Yeah.
It's
one of the better video game movies.
Yeah, but then again, loads of people will argue that Angry Birds is the best video game movie.
Well, I forgot that existed.
Whether or not you classify Angry Birds.
We're
as
forgetting the new
it
Sonic the Hedgehog as well, guys.
I've heard that's not terrible either, you know. I can't imagine I'm gonna watch it, but I mean, I might do just for like the lulls, I guess. But
well, this
I've
is the
heard
thing,
it's
though,
not
is
terrible.
A lot of people said it's actually pretty alright, and if it's actually alright, like, why would I would only watch a Sonic movie if it's gonna be really bad. Seriously.
Yeah. Like, it's no fun when it's actually okay.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy it.
If
I want it to be so bad I can laugh at it.
If the best thing it can be is like, I don't know, Hop, you know, like, I can't say I'm really interested in that.
Nah.
Or the Smurfs movie? Do people like that? Like, that's the upper tier of what Sonic could be, really?
Dunno. I mean,
I haven't watched them because I don't care about them. I don't care.
See,
will I watch Sonic? No, don't care.
There's certain things like Sonic, like if they were gonna make like a Mario movie, things like that. If they
are
to,
making a Mario movie. Oh, so there was a live action Mario movie in the 90s, which is really funny and bad, and they are making an animated Mario movie. But guess who's doing it?
Oh God. Don't want to know.
It's Illumination. Illumination are making the Mario movie. Where the fuck were we? I think we were just finishing up talking about characters. Does anyone like anyone apart from M. Bison?
I didn't even.
I don't remember anyone else.
He was in the wrong movie.
He was in the wrong
He could
movie.
be like this to me felt like almost a G.I. Joe movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it would have fit much better because everyone in an action movie, they all know martial arts and kung fu, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not specifically kung fu, but yeah, that. They all just do martial arts. It's not that special anymore. Everyone knows how to fight in an action movie. So making a film about fighting is not that unique. Unless your fights are really something.
Yeah.
It's not that unique. So this could have just been a 90s over the top. Like that, when they get that stealth boat out of fucking nowhere, I was like, oh, what? It could why would you want a boat that leaves trails behind it that can turn invisible? You can just see where it's just making waves behind it. You could see, why
Maybe
make it invisible?
it's two Crocs, like synchronized swimming.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think you're spot on with the G.I. Joe thing. Honestly, I think you're spot on.
I think it would have been really good.
That's crazy. I think. Yeah. Did you see? I've not seen the sequel, but did anyone see the first G.I. Joe movie?
Yeah, I hardly remember it.
Years ago.
That's how bad it
One
was.
with the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, they melt the Eiffel Tower.
I did see that.
What? Did he actually?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Christopher Eccleston has like some green glowing RPGs that he shoots at the Eiffel Tower, and they just sort of dissolve it and eat it.
What the fuck?
It's
Why?
fine.
What's his motive?
God,
What does he wanna
Channing
do?
Tatum was in it.
He was just evil.
Channing Tatum was in it as well, yeah.
Brendan Fraser was in it.
Was there
There's
was there a character like called Joe in it? Or was
No. G.I. Joe is the name of the organization.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Why?
So G.I. Joe as an action figure range started out, so it was just army men, and the main character was just called G.I. Joe. That became Action Man over here. The same models. In the 80s, Hasbro decided to update it and call the organization G.I. Joe, which allowed them to make lots more varied characters instead of just one guy.
Okay.
Good old Joe.
pretty sure the soldiers become known as Joes.
Yes.
Like each one is a G.I. Joe.
Oh.
Yeah, they made a sequel to that, and I can't remember what happens in it.
The Rock's
other
in
than
it.
They kill The Rock's in it, and they kill Channing Tatum really early on.
Oh,
It was in the
really?
trailer. It was in the trailer.
And they just kill him, and that happens right at the start, and they go, oh, was his name Duke?
Yes.
I feel like
Yeah, his name was Duke.
Yeah. And they go, oh, we're doing it for Duke, or whatever. I can't remember
Oh my
anything else about it. Oh, someone could change their
Thingy's
face,
in it
couldn't they?
as well. From Die Hard. Fuck, what's his name? I'm going to kick myself.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis
that
is
movie.
in it.
Yes, he is. He puts bullets in a frying pan or
Yeah.
something.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? What is this movie?
Right, because he's an old retired G.I. Joe
Yeah.
who's living at home, and like a government or the bad guys coming to get him, and he's like, okay, how am I going to escape? I'll put some bullets in a frying pan, and then put it on high heat. So when they get hot enough, they'll all just ping off randomly, and I'll be like hightailing it out of here, but they'll think they're being shot at. Genius.
That doesn't seem like it should work.
No, it doesn't.
Do you want to try it?
I mean,
I don't
that
have bullets.
How did he know that was gonna work? Couldn't he not just got like? Oh no, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Fuck you, Bruce Willis. I don't buy it.
I don't think it was Bruce Willis's idea.
Did you also know? Did you also know there was was it a rumor or was it confirmed? It's technically set in the same universe as the first two Mummy movies.
What?
Oh, I think I did.
Brendan
know this, yeah.
Fraser is playing Rick O'Connell's grandson, who became part of the G.I. Joe.
Wait. So his second name's O'Connell.
Yes.
Wait. Okay. So there's three Mummy movies though, and his son's like in his like 20s in the third one.
Yeah. So his son,
I guess it's
Alex O'Connell, will have another kid. That kid is in G.I. Joe, and played by Brendan Fraser.
Look at Joe, his mind's been blown.
I don't understand. I don't get it.
Sure,
Why?
if your camera had frozen for a minute, or if you were genuinely just so confused.
I don't understand. Why would they? What need would they have to link those movies together? It's like,
I'm pretty sure there were plans to link Transformers and G.I. Joe as well. At one.
Yes.
see, that
and
even that makes a little sense.
there is
a
some
little
new.
bit of
There's a
sense.
new, either theory or rumor, and I am in support of this, that they are going to do another G.I. Joe movie, and it's going to star John Cena, and
Cena.
he will found G.I. Joe after the events of the Bumblebee movie, which I like.
Right.
Same
Different.
character.
That would be alright.
Wait, okay, so if that's the case, and they do link it to Transformers, that then means that the events of Transformers is also part of the Mummy universe.
No, because Bumblebee's a reboot.
No,
It's
reboot.
fine. It's fine.
Bumblebees are right, okay, I didn't know that. That's all good then. So, wait, but then if they're doing another G.I. Joe with John Cena, would that then be part of the original too?
If it
Or would
is,
that also
then
be a
yes,
remake?
the Mummy is part of the Transformers universe. If
The
that
Bumblebee
happens,
universe would
The
be part of the
Joe's head is
Yeah.
literally just the modem sound right now.
Yeah, you know what
Like-
this is like? You know what? I don't even know what this is like. This is just like one person's like, oh man, you know Brendan Fraser? He was good in The Mummy, you know. It's like, oh yeah, he's in our film. It's like, oh man, is it a sequel to The Mummy? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, alright. Must be.
Well,
Or
I've kind of done. It was a bit in Star Trek, the reboot, the first one, where R2D2 goes like whizzing across the screen in
Yeah.
space, which means that technically
Thingy is as
Star
well.
Wars and Star Trek are the
and a
same.
TIE
You're
fighter
saying
is in
that.
Man of Steel, so
And also, Indiana Jones. They appear in Indiana Jones as well.
Oh yeah,
In what is it?
That's right.
In the first one, there's hieroglyphics of R2
Yeah.
and C-3PO. And isn't the bit where in the fourth one where the nuke goes off? Isn't there an R2 there as well? Like half a
yes,
second.
I think
No,
so.
it's not then. It's not then. It's later in the film.
With
when
the
that
spaceship.
temple things the spaceship and the temple things crashing. He like flies down briefly for like half a second. You
Yeah.
can see him.
And
So, there you
E.T. is on the Galactic Council in Star Wars.
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
They're all connected, man. All
So
of
Star Wars is. Okay,
Oh my god,
so
and
this is
the Rock! The Rock is in G.I. Joe 2 and The Mummy 2, the Scorpion,
Scorpion.
King.
it. Oh god, yeah, he is.
Does that mean he's a descendant of the Scorpion King?
Oh man.
It's the Scorpion King's
Didn't
great,
it-
great, 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 great grandson.
He made like 4 of those, but he was only in the first one. He
Yeah.
made so many Scorpion. Oh my days. Right. Okay. So we've got 2 universes here. We've got the Star Wars one, which the very first point in the timeline is the Indiana Jones. No, actually, no, it'd be Star Wars, won't it? So Star Wars events would be the very first. Some point after Star Wars, Indiana Jones happens. And then E.T. happens in the 80s.
Yeah,
And then skip about 100, 200 years, Star Trek happens.
yeah.
There you go, it lines up perfectly.
It lines up.
Or they're
Lines
all
up.
just friends who went to the same, film schools, and we're just
They all
reading
wanna
way
put-
too into
They're all
it.
linked. Too boring. They're all linked. They're all linked.
This is a great sign, I think, that we all hate this movie so fucking much that we've gone on 2 massive tangents about 7 other movies.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The other fight scene that I think was funny was, if we remember that talking point, the last bit where M. Bison can fly. That's fun, isn't it?
He was trying to use science for it, right? Why bother doing that in this sort of movie? Just say he just can.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
But no,
give
they
him
said,
the-
maglev and bullet trains, and that's how I can fly.
What's the line where he's like, the Japanese use it to levitate bullet trains, and I use it to levitate me.
No. And it's just boots that glow. Like,
I've
I
got
had
the
some of
fucking
those
line
in,
somewhere.
primary.
My guy Gomez didn't deserve this.
Nah.
You came here prepared to fight a madman, and instead you find a god.
He can just float around and shoot lightning. I mean,
Did we?
Thor,
did
to
we
be
all
fair,
think-
that's what Thor does, isn't it?
Oh my
He's
God.
supposed to be a god.
It's all connected.
Sure.
Did we all find it satisfying that despite all the levitating and lightning powers, he was killed by like one spin kick that knocked him really far into a
It was-
TV?
Played 3 times over though, so
Yeah, is
power
it
of 3 spin kicks.
is it one spin kick that was so powerful he felt it 3 times, or is it Spider-Man, Japanese Spider-Man logic?
Oh, oh
It just
boy.
keeps happening. Yeah, that's the movie. Lots of dumb fight scenes. There's a fight scene in a cage. It's rubbish. There's a fight scene on a bridge. It's rubbish. There's a fight scene on a model village. It's rubbish. And
What's that?
yeah.
That's how memorable this is.
Bisonopolis. There's a bit where Bison's like, "This is Bisonopolis. Make the food court bigger. All the brands will want in." And then later on, Honda and Zangief have a fight on top of it.
Didn't even
I'll
pick up
take
on that.
I'll take your word for it, Sam. I don't plan on watching this again, honestly. to double check.
Joe, you mentioned having some of the lines written down. It really is the lines and the delivery that make this what it is. I really liked when Guile fakes his own death, and DJ's like, "That's great news, General. Congratulations." And Bison goes, "On the contrary, I mourn." Like, I love how insane he is.
The lines that I had 3 lines written down. 2 of them are like one after the other, and they're all from the same scene. The first one is when the guy shows up from the United Nations or wherever it is they're from, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna pay him, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And the line the guy says is like, what is it he says? He's like, "Colonel, have you lost your mind?" And he goes, "No, but you've lost your balls." And it's like,
Oh my
burn,
goodness.
I guess? Sick burn? Question mark? I couldn't. And then the other one is when he confronts his men, and he's like, "The war is cancelled." That's not how you say that line. If you're gonna announce that they're ending the war, just be like, "Yeah, we're not fighting anymore." It's like, "Yeah, they've cancelled the war." And everyone's like,
cancelled
"Ah,
us.
fuck."
Netflix have cancelled the war.
Oh,
Will
man,
they ever
there weren't enough
stop?
views. People weren't watching it. Oh, man. It's like, fuck off.
I mean, Guile has constant weird lines. Like, there's the one where Chun-Li breaks in and discovers his dead body. They have a weird confrontation. Then she escapes, and T-Hawk goes, "What a screw-up." And then Guile pokes his head out the window and goes, "What a woman." Thanks for that, Guile.
Eat.
The absolute best one, though. No. There's a great bit that I've forgotten. Right at the start of the movie, when Giles doing the weird talk on the news thing, and then M. Bison somehow talks to him through the news.
Hacks the news.
Hacks
or
the
something.
news. He hacks the news on his weird little arcade cabinet controller. His little flying thing. I actually quite liked that. But he hacks the news, and Bison goes, "Choke on it." And Guile goes, "I'd be happy to, dickhead." It's like, whoa. You want to add like a no homo or something? I don't know. What's kind of movies going on here? But the best line in all of cinema and best delivery, which I will attempt to replicate and fail, is again one of Bison's. "The day M. Bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. And for me, it was Tuesday." What a guy. What a guy. I love him. So in summary, from what we can remember, we didn't like any of the scenes, or the plot, or the fight sequences, or the characters. This is great fucking news. So what we'll do is we'll go round in a circle and give any final thoughts we have on the movie, and each give it a score out of 10. Good luck, Street Fighter. And I'll use math to get an overall score out of 100, and we'll see where it ranks on our list of the best toy movies of all time. Amelia, kick us off.
This movie was in my brain for a couple of seconds and then it left. So Yeah, I'm not even gonna again talk about this for ages because it was just a load of crap. The only thing that was good about it was my guy Gomez. Raul.
Yeah, Raul Julia.
Raul.
Yeah.
He's such a fab actor, and there's an amazing video on YouTube that I watched before this, basically saying that like why it's a bad movie but why it's good. And I really like the fact that supposedly the reason why he took this role is because his kids love Street Fighter, and they did it for them. So that like it's basically the way the guy in the video worded it was his dying gift to his kids, and it just got me. I was like,
I'm
what?
not sure I'd want this to be the gift from my dad, you know what I mean?
So all because of that.
Appreciate the thought, Dad.
Yeah. So all because of him, it's a 1.
It's
and
a
that 1
1.
is him.
Jacob?
What is this? I mean, I've been when I try and like rate a movie, I don't always do it by the same thing. Sometimes it's if it's on, would I turn it off?
Yeah.
Or would I keep watching it? Would I actively go out and watch this movie? Would I leave a cinema if it was on? Why does it? I hate it. I hate all of it. It's bad. It's just fucking. I don't even know what to even give it. I think based on Amelia's story alone, I'm probably gonna have to agree and just give it a 1. Because what?
Joe?
I mean, I was actually I was gonna say the exact same thing that Amelia said. I'm gonna give it a 1 as well, purely based on the fact that he did it for his kids. Like this film.
Oh my god!
This film is so trash that in my brain, I have decided that I am never gonna watch this film ever again. I'm gonna actively avoid. If this film is on the TV, I'm gonna turn it off. I am never gonna subject my brain.
I've got a question for you though. What if in the future, little mini Joe, Daddy, can we watch Street Fighter? What are you gonna say?
Absolutely not. Is what I would say.
Little Mini Joe is also somehow American.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
I could be. Big things could happen, Joe.
You never know.
There you go. See,
Might
but then
move.
this is the thing. That was gonna be the next thing. I'm gonna actively make sure that my kids stay away from this trash.
What if in the future Street Fighter is this, for whatever reason, this like bizarre cultural touchstone, and all the other kids make fun of your kid because he's got to admit in school, my dad, he banned me from watching Street Fighter.
Well, you know what? He can deal with it. He can just deal with it. I don't care. He's not watching this film. I'm just too bad. It doesn't deserve to exist. Did we find out
deserve to exist.
Did we find out how much money they wasted on this film?
Yes, actually, we usually do this at the start. Let's segment. If I tell you the budget, do you want to guess the box office?
Go on.
Because I know the numbers. $33 million budget.
Oh God, all that money.
I think I've seen it.
$33 million.
I think I've seen it, so I'll go last.
Oh, don't put me first. God damn.
Oh wait, sorry, 35 million. Thought it was 33. It's 35.
Oh, Jesus, even more.
Yeah. $2 more million.
60,
$2 million.
60 million.
Okay, you reckon it profited,
Go on.
Joe?
The thing is, it came out around Christmas. This isn't a Christmas film, but it is also the 90s. So, Street Fighter is when does the first one come out? I imagine it came out around this time. Well, not around this time, but it would have still been pretty big.
Let me check for you.
I'm gonna say, is this box office first in general, or just the opening weekend?
No, this is global box office. This is what it took in the end.
I'm gonna say about 100,000.
100,000. So you thought it lost dramatically?
No,
35 million. It made $100,000. What a travesty!
I hope so. I hope.
I can confirm
that's all they
to
deserve
you
for making this film.
The arcade cabinet came out in Japan in '87 for the first game.
Right, I'm gonna say 100 mil for the thing because there might have been that general intrigue there for it, and be everyone's oh, it's a Street Fighter film. there was no proper internet then, so no one could have.
This is the year where the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers theme tune is chart topping, and I might think it's a banger, but I've got bad taste in everything. So,
right, my final guess. If because like I said, I watched the video before I come on. Now, the picture I saw, it had 33 million for domestic and 66 million, I think, for like worldwide. So my guess is going to be 90 million if you're combining the two. Round that.
Technically, Joe would have been the most accurate, but Amelia, you were on exactly the right lines. $99 million. Made over 60 mil overall, which is insane.
No. It just encourages bad behaviour. It doing so well.
Yeah, it's this movie's fault, because this is the weird thing, because it's rubbish, it's trash. They do the weird thing at the end where they all pause like video game characters.
Someone made enough money and probably bought like a fucking new car or something off the bunny. They don't deserve it.
It basically made Jean-Claude Van Damme a household name. Like, it solidified him as a new action star,
for like 10
which is crazy.
Years. For like 10 years. I wouldn't consider him a thingy anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. You can say Jean-Claude Van Damme and they'll be like, that guy from the beer adverts in the snow? You know.
Oh, that is him.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Coors Light, isn't it? The brand?
Oh my god, he's been weathered.
Yes. Yes,
Isn't it that episode of Always Sunny where they're making a film and they're like, oh, let's bring him back. Let's make him a star again. And then they make him like a dog man or something.
I can't remember.
That's the film they're writing.
Sounds like Always Sunny.
Make him like a dog man or something, yeah.
Yeah, this is odd. And it probably is the direct contributor to why there's a Dead or Alive movie. Thank me for not having to watch that. The Mortal Kombat movies. The Far Cry movie.
I've seen that. It's terrible. It's awful. It's based
all
on
the
the
Uwe
first
Boll
game.
movies. The Max Payne movie where he fights demons.
Oh god.
It's got Mark Wahlberg in it.
Yes, it does have Marky Mark. Yep, as
it.
Max Payne. So this movie's got a lot to answer for, and y'all have terrified me a little bit because I think my score was overshooting. This is a bad movie, but it does make me laugh. Oh no! Oh no! Do I commit?
Go with your heart.
I want to give it a 4 out of 10. I want to give
We're
it a
judging
4.
you hard.
I don't blame you. I think it is just because of that It Was Tuesday line, but this movie has been somewhere in my head ever since I watched it when I was a wee boy. It was probably a decade ago. For better or worse, it's been there, and I've been happy to have it be there, and I can't explain that to you, because I agree that I don't like anyone in it. I don't like anything in it. I just find some of the lines funny. That's not good. I can't give it a 4. I gave Vertigo a 4. I'm going to knock it down to a 2. Okay, that gives us...
More reasonable.
That gives us, out of a possible 100, 12.5.
Nice.
Making it the third worst movie. Third worst movie of
what
all
is worse?
time.
What have we voted worse than this?
Fantastic
Holiday
Four
special.
and the Holiday Special.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Oh,
I don't know though. I kind of want to change my answer now to put it even lower, because this, like, I could follow Fantastic Four's plot at least. Do you know what I mean?
You wouldn't
With
watch
this-
that again either. There's no way you'd watch that again.
No, I wouldn't. But if my kid wanted to watch it, I would be like, all right, it's up to you, I guess.
Did Street Fighter make you angry though, the way this did?
It did, because it wasted my time. I had to spend 2 hours of my life to watch it. I mean, no, I suppose. I mean, I can live with it still being, like, ranked among the third worst film we've done. I suppose. But I don't know.
Happiness all around. So that brings us to the most important part of the show, and that's finding out what we're going to be watching next week. Amelia, let us know.
Yes, I'm not gonna lie, I had a moment, as most of us do. Started today, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I gotta think of a movie. I haven't even thought of one. And we're gonna go with a movie which is easily accessible. It's on Disney Plus.
Nice.
That's what I like.
Sweet.
It came out in 2009. And I was poking and prodding you guys a bit before the episode started. Due to current affairs, we'll say. Splash Mountain's getting changed over, isn't it? Two-way Princess and the Frog ride. And I look back, we've done animated movies, but we've not really done an animated Disney musical. So I thought, after the shit show that we've had to sit through, I thought we'll watch a sing-songy princessy movie, because why not? Why not? Let's do it. And like I say, it's easy to get hold of.
Amelia, you've doomed us.
Go on.
4 privileged white people to have to talk about a movie that involves race relations. While the biggest thing in the world is the Black Lives Matter movement. We are not qualified for this.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I'm not going to make the episode this, like you say, oh, look, we're 4 white people talking about it. I'm going to look at this from a movie that... Because when I saw this film in the cinemas as a young child, and I really enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? Like, this was a movie that I was like, this is really good. And I'm happy that this film is now getting more love and attention. Because, like, it's a good film. It's got great music. It's got a good plot. You know, the characters are really cool. Like, the villain is awesome.
It's got sort of jazz-based soundtrack, doesn't it?
It does.
I've not actually seen it. I've not seen it.
I know the villain, though. I've seen the bits of the villain. The villain's pretty cool. Is that Witch Doctor guy, isn't it?
Creepy as.
Yeah, Dr. Facilier. So yeah, I'm not going to go into this preaching to everyone, because there's better videos you can find out there about that, of people who know their shit. And I'd rather people go and find that. Instead, I'm looking at this as a Disney movie.
There's not really anything we can add. It's important that you listen to others during times like this. Like people who actually, go through this shit. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, well, good. That's calmed me down, because I was like,
No, we're all right.
yeah, well, all right, cool. It's a Disney movie I've never seen. Should be a fun time. So, thank you very much for joining us on this episode about Street Fighter. I hope you didn't have to watch it like we did, but regardless, if you have, let us know what you think of the movie and this video in the comments down below. If you've been listening to us on your favourite podcasting apps, you can find us on YouTube by searching for the Outtakes Movie Podcast, and if you have watched the video, then you can do the same but in verse. That's fun, isn't it? You can find us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for The Real Outtakes to find out updates and stuff about what's coming up on the show. And that is it. That's fun. Feel out of practice, because it's been a while since the last one. It's fun. Yeah, it's good. Street Fighter. KO.
Yo.
You win. Perfect.
Wait, is Finish Him? Is that from thingy?
That's Mortal Kombat. Finish him. That's Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Oh no, that's sad. All right. Well, I mean, it's still a fighting game, so in my mind, it's all the same. Fight some guys.
Don't get started about same universes again, Joe. Episode's finishing. Don't do it.